go inside Pauley Pavilion, the first of 2 today, as the round of 64 continues here in Southern California. And this is Desiree Young, who gets a post touch on the first possession, first bucket of the night. So this is Creighton's starting 5. It's presented by Capital One. As we mentioned a moment ago, there you go, the all-senior starting 5, not just that kid. They've started all 30 games.
Yeah, it's incredible, the durability to not have to have made a single switch through 30 games. And we mentioned this is a group that has played together for 3 or 4 years. Lauren Jensen, the only one who transferred in from Iowa as a sophomore. Other than that, they've all been in Omaha.
Yeah, incredible roster continuity. So after Morgan Molly's miss, and entry pass is a bit wide from Alyssa Brown, so the turnover gives it right back to the Blue Jays. So this is how Lindy LaRock counters. This is her starting 5, again brought to you by Capital One. Young leads the way, averages 18 points per game. One of the best scorers in the Mountain West Conference. Unanimous selection for Player of the Year.
And they have a great point guard with the ball in her hands right now. Kiera Jackson, one of the most efficient in terms of assist to turnover, the most efficient actually in the country, but she will look to get her shots as well.
Couldn't hit the close range look there, and there's a blow by Molly Mogensen with the right hand scoop.
And we talk about the big 3, but it might be a little disrespectful to Molly Mogensen, another one of those seniors who has really come on strong here late in the season.
Yeah, she could be an X factor in a lot of ways. Creighton on the move now. Mogensen, number 21 in the white, finds Ronsick. That one was blocked from behind, and Mallory Brake cleans it up. UNLV on a 15-game win streak. Kim, they trampled the Mountain West Conference again, went 17-1. Young on a turnaround, got it to go.
That young lady is a big part of the reason why. And, you know, at 30-2, it's kind of hard to believe they are a 10 seed. I think you could say Creighton might feel that they're a bit underseeded as well. So like we said, this is a pretty good 7-10 matchup, 2 top 25 teams. Jackson
now in a hurry. Finds Young, ball fake, gets into the paint, finds Brown.
It has been all Desiree Young early on. The first 2 buckets, and then that time she has the ability to step out, put it on the floor, and be a facilitator as well.
Yeah, she can post up her game. To your point, very versatile. Already has 3 rebounds now. Ronsick cuts. Makes the catch underneath, try to put it up. Brown there to affect the shot. Young down with another board.
Yeah, you see the size of UNLV just double teaming Ronsick, and they're very disciplined defensively in terms of staying straight up in the post.
So Young gives it away. Creighton now on the move. Jensen, very prolific scorer, so keep an eye on 15 in white today. One of the premier scorers in the Big East, cashes in from deep.
Pretty much anybody wearing a white jersey today can shoot the 3. You have to really protect that 3-point line, but that's actually not the main concern for Lindy LaRock of UNLV. She's more concerned with the 2s off of cuts and curls.
One of the first late shot clock looks. Both teams can certainly get up and down the floor quick, and Jackson scores that one close range.
And you can't give her that much space in the paint. She can get by you with the dribble and very comfortable in that mid-range area.
Well, you mentioned it, this Creighton offense, boy, predicated on the motion and the movement. Watch the player movement and ball movement today. Ashley Scoggin ripped that one away from the Blue Jays. And so Scoggin now starts to initiate some stuff. Young back out to Jackson. Young turns, puts it up, and banks it in. So Desiree Young with 6 of UNLV's 10.
And she's perfect from the floor. She has yet to miss a shot, and what she does so well is get that fronting position in the post. She has the Creighton defenders on her back. It's an easy catch, turn, and shoot over the top.
And so UNLV is 5 of 7 from the floor now. Little mismatch inside. Molly Missed that one. It was halfway down, popped out. Ball back to UNLV. So we added the aforementioned Lindy LaRocque has now steered UNLV to 3 straight Mountain West Conference titles and NCAA Women's Championship appearances. She's changed the trajectory of the program for a place that hadn't been to this tournament in 20 years.
And she knows something about it as a 4-year Final Four player at Stanford. It is incredible what she's done in a short amount of time. Back-to-back 30-win seasons for the Lady Rebels.
Yeah, they're fourth in the Mountain West Conference. After Kimpson's miss, Creighton in a hurry, and there's a whistle. And so Kennedy Townsend that time draws the foul, and it takes us to a timeout. UNLV up 3.
We talked about UNLV's leading scorer, Desi Ray Young, closing in on 2,000 points. She's native, her first head coaching job, and she certainly has them rolling. Rocking and rolling. Has anyone said that before?
No, I don't think so. Stanford 2012 grad. And you see it there, or I saw it a moment ago, second best season in program history. The best was last year when they won 31 games, so this era has been great. Creighton, a good free throw shooting team, as you see. Find themselves down 1 in the first quarter of this 7-10 battle. Jackson got that one to go, and then there was a whistle underneath, so we'll see if they count the basket. And then there was a foul underneath the hoop.
Yeah, it looks like the officials are saying it's going to count, and Kiera Jackson is just such a shifty guard as we keep an eye on this contact under the hoop. Yeah, Jamie Horan. Actually, they called that on UNLV. To me, I thought actually Jamie Horan was going to be whistled for it. So that was called on Desiree Young, but the basket was before the foul, so it'll count.
So that's the first foul on Young. Creighton attacks once again. Great. The offensive board, and the putback is there.
Creighton hasn't opened up overly hot from the floor, but they've gotten a couple of offensive rebounds for some second chance points.
Jamie Horan knocks down the 3.
It doesn't matter what the points per game says for a Creighton player. Jamie Horan averages just 3 per game. If anyone is going to come in from the bench for Creighton, and they can knock down a 3.
They're a very efficient three-point shooting team, and they have been all year. That one's knocked out, and so UNLV keeps it. A new 20 on the shot clock.
And here's Jamie Horan, fresh off the bench, just a little bit too much space on the contest. There was a game towards the end of the Big East regular season where she went, I think it was 5 for 5 from 3.
Scoggin answers for UNLV. So it's 14 up late in the first.
We expected a lot of offense in this one. We are getting it. This is a fun game, high pace, up and down.
UNLV scores close to 80 a game. Creighton will score close to 75. Look who's wide open. That 3 is down. Jensen with her second.
Just a defensive mishap for the Lady Rebels, completely losing Lauren Jensen. Nobody in the vicinity.
So they go right back to Young, knocked out by Jensen. UNLV keeps it. Yeah, the Blue Jays 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. They have been very effective from beyond the three-point line this year. Jackson now on the attack, spins, that's good.
Kiera Jackson has that spin back, turn away patented, and it's so effective because she can get to her spots, but then that gives her a little bit more separation to go up with it because she's not the biggest at 5'7".
Jackson, the junior from Texas, on the move now after the Blue Jays miss. This is Alyssa Brown, lines it up. Rebound down to the Blue Jays. Break is now open. Turns down the 3. Horan, another.
Creighton doing a a very nice job of working that ball around. And this is why they're so tough to defend, especially if you're not used to seeing this style of offense, which is constant motion, cutting, screening. They've just caught UNLV sleeping a couple times here.
And Jim Flannery was very candid about that when the bracket was released. And we're sometimes a difficult scout on short notice. So Creighton pulls back in front by 4. There's a whistle and a foul with 5 on the timer. So that's on Creighton. Remember, tomorrow, the NCAA Women's Championship, it continues. Round of 32 action at noon on ESPN. You've got that Duke-Ohio State matchup over on ABC at 1. North Carolina, South Carolina, Colorado, and Kansas State's at 2. And then Middle Tennessee, the lone lower-seeded team to advance, faces LSU.
Yeah, they had I think it was an 18-point comeback to take down Louisville. And it seems like they've had a couple of wins like that in NCAA tournament history.
Well, we've had a couple of impressive comebacks. Iowa State the other yesterday.
Audie Crooks, big-time performance for the freshman, 40 points.
40-piece. Jensen maybe tracking in that direction. She's got 9. That's Creighton's 5th triple.
Lindy LaRocque told us she was more concerned with the 2s than the 3s, but it's certainly becoming an area of concern for the defense.
So a 14-4 Creighton run after they had fallen behind by 3. Ronsick looking for somebody in the paint, and there's an illegal screen. That's a foul on Creighton, and ball's going back to UNLV. That's the first on Keani Lockett, who just came in off the bench.
Yeah, these officials are going to be calling a tight game throughout the tournament. They've been told to emphasize freedom of movement, so any sort of holding or bumping cutters probably not going to fly these next couple weekends.
So 15 seconds to go in the first quarter. A corner in which Creighton has hit 5 threes. This is the freshman Kimpson. Splits a pair into the paint. That one's blocked. Knocked out of bounds. 2.7 to go.
Disciplined defense from Emma Ronsick. We talk about Desiree Young being disciplined on the other end. So too is Emma Ronsick, just walling up there, staying vertical.
Another one of the Omaha veterans. So Flannery makes a quick substitution. 2.7. James finds Young, a second to go, puts it up, bounces out, and so Creighton ends that quarter on quite an impressive run. It was a 16-6 run, Blue Jays by 7.
They actually matched up with Iowa twice in the regular season by way of just scheduling and then a tournament. So if they were to meet, that would be the 3rd time this season they've split the first 2.
To your point, there were a couple of teams that wound up on the 2 line there that were certainly in contention to receive one of those 1 seeds. Stays here with Creighton after the miss. But UCLA, the 2 seed in this regional, they tip off against California Baptist after this one. Creighton, by the way, Kim, with a 7-point lead. They trailed by 3 around the halfway mark of that first quarter. And look how they finished.
Yeah, they came out a bit cold, but they have stayed consistent in the way they want to play. I thought they've moved the ball really well. They've forced UNLV to fall asleep at times, and they have cashed in on the 3s.
And they've hit 5 of them. So the Lady Rebels need a response. This is a team that hasn't lost in more than 2 months. Their last defeat back on January 20th. 5 to shoot. Jackson trying to create a crossover. 1 second. Did she get it off in time? Bounces out anyway. Young, the offensive board, and the stick back.
Yeah, they're going to need to get Desiree Young going again. We mentioned she had the hot starts, had been held scoreless for a couple minutes there, but she's back in the mix.
After the Creighton miss, Lockett follows that misfire, so a new 20 for the Blue Jays. What's most critical here to the way Creighton works offensively?
Well, I think just how they move the...
Oh, wow, another triple. That's now 6 threes, and then a foul underneath.
Yeah, so the basket counts. And let's see if... Take a look at the foul call that I believe Creighton will get the ball back. Here's Jensen running along the baseline. Morgan Molly drains the three. We couldn't get a great look at it there. Here's a better look at it. Oh, yeah. Amarachi Kimpson just shoves Lauren Jensen. So this is a huge potential for a swing for Creighton. Could be a 6-point play.
It could be. Into the paint. That 10-footer is offline for Molly. Molly was the one who hit the three a few moments ago. The senior from Nebraska. Creighton with an 8-point lead, and UNLV needs a bit of an answer now. Early in the second.
Yeah, they got to get moving the ball a little bit more. They've been a bit stagnant. That time they find Desiree Young a little bit more space. They have to allow her to operate with some room, not allow Creighton to collapse on her.
She's into double figures. That's a sweet move by Jensen. The now 3-time all-conference selection. She's close to double figures as well. I'll make it. She has 11. That's a deep post catch for Young. Got tied up there in the middle and a turnover.
And as soon as she caught it, she was triple teamed. And Creighton forces her to bobble it up.
Well, Kim, she's got half of UNLV's points. Defends that shot. Jensen couldn't get it to go. And Jackson now on the move. Maybe some numbers. Scoggin puts it up and buries the three. That's a big one.
And that's also something UNLV can do a bit more of, is get out in transition. They're having a tough time in the half court. Go a little defense to offense, rebound and run. That was an easier look for the Lady Rebels.
They're a top 25 three-point shooting team as well. Today, of course, playing Creighton out of the Big East. We'll see if that translates today. Jensen on the blow-by, lays it up and in.
And that's why several of these Blue Jays are tough matchups, because Lauren Jensen, they're respecting her at the three-point line, but she blows by and can attack.
Scoggin was looking for back-to-back, but instead rebound down to Molly. That's Creighton's rebound leader. She's open. The lefty knocks down another. They are red hot from beyond the arc. And it's Creighton by 10.
And Lindy LaRock, UNLV coach, is hot on the bench. Another lost shooter. Creighton is dialing it up from distance. 54% of her makes were threes. Now as a senior, just 34% of her makes are threes. And that's not because she's a worse three-point shooter. It's because she's diversified her game and has gotten so good at getting downhill, in addition to being a three-point shooter.
Yeah, more well-rounded score. It's a great nugget. Her third year at the program. Transferred in after her rookie year at Iowa. And she has parlayed these last 3 years into one of the better Blue Jay careers, if you will, in recent memory. 3-time all-conference selection. Finished 6th in the league this year in scoring, averaging 17 a game. She's very close to that already. And Creighton has built a double-digit lead over the Mountain West Conference champs.
Creighton doing a nice job of getting back in transition defense. You see them stopping that drive right away, but Jackson finds another way.
Young has 10 to lead all Lady Rebel scorers, but Jackson's been efficient herself. She has 8. This is the junior point guard from Texas, has really blossomed this year. And today has done a fine job of getting into the paint. Another three in the air. Brown rips that one away from Jensen. And so the Rebels are on the move again. Scoggin wants the three. No. Another fine year for the Blue Jays. 25 wins, second most in program history. Good defense that time. That's the freshman Amarachi Kimpson, who at the right time there ties up the bet. Possession arrow favors UNLV, so they have it back. But we return to Westwood.
We have had plenty of madness early on. We are still just in the first round.
And so we had, you saw it there, the 1, lower seeded team to advance. That was Middle Tennessee with that 18-point comeback yesterday. Florida Gulf Coast, the 12 seed, almost became the second to move on earlier today. Oklahoma just held them off at the end. In Westwood, Creighton can't miss from deep. And so it's Jamie Horan, who's hit 3 off the bench for the Blue Jays. Kim, they've got 8 now as a team.
3 for 3, and she has not grazed the rim. It has been straight net.
So the senior from Omaha making a gigantic impact. Young draws the foul. That's the versatile Vegas star for UNLV. And it's not like the Rebels are inefficient from the floor. They're just having a tough time keeping up with this trove of threes that have gone down. Horan, 3 of 3. She doesn't take too many, but she's pretty efficient on the year.
She's tripled her scoring average. It's still in the first half.
Goodness. Young, boy, that shot off the glass is money, isn't it?
Yeah, they're just going to have to keep feeding her and playing through her, allow her presence inside to open up some things on the perimeter.
Well, they certainly need some stops as well on this end. Jensen attacked that time and then drew the foul on the freshman Kimson. So that's the second on the Little Elm, Texas native.
Desiree Young, so good at establishing that front position when she is a defender on her back. She's not going to miss too many of those shots. We've seen Creighton throw some different looks at her. They've doubled, they've tripled. That time was just a one-on-one coverage, and that's when she has been at her best.
Today she's 6 of 9 from the floor, has 12 and 6. They're just trying to keep up with this relentless offensive attack. Another open 3. That one's down and out. The latest from Townsend looked good. So an important 340 for the Lady Rebels. That's all that's left in the second quarter. Nneka Obiizer draws the foul. So 2 free throws coming for the junior from Minnesota.
Last couple of possessions, the Lady Rebels really trying to feed it inside. Obiizer using her body. That maybe could have gone either way there. Tough collision, but Obiizer gets herself to the line, which is another way to look to get back into this game. These are just the first free throw attempts for UNLV.
Yeah, that's it. Obiizer, very solid free throw shooter. She's 84% at the stripe. This has been the revival for her this year. Only 8 games played last year due to a knee injury. She was lost for the season in December. So when UNLV played Michigan in the round of 64 last year, didn't have a player like Obiizer. They're healthier than they were a season ago in the postseason. So they're down 8.
Yeah, she gives them a great lift off the bench, physicality, post-up ability. Just a tough player on the interior along with Young.
Jackson always in attack mode. Another deep post catch. That's a foul on Ronsick. And so Young is headed to the free throw line for her first freebies of the day.
And one-on-one, you can't be completely behind her. That is where she thrives. You either maybe wrap around or you fully, if you're going to fully front her, you need somebody coming from the back. But I would try maybe a 3-quarter to try to stop that pass from getting in so easily.
So let's remind you, for the 4th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game, it's on all of the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to NCAA.com. It's your home for all 90 NCAA championships. We've got one more here later tonight. UCLA facing the 15-seed California Baptist, making their tournament debut, by the way. That's a foul on the interior. And so that'll keep it here. That's another team foul on UNLV. It's 4th.
And this is certainly something the players have to adjust to. There have been a fair amount of fouls been called off the ball. So these officials are watching everything, especially on rebounds.
Yeah, good crew tonight. Melissa Barlow, Sage Isho, and Nicole Leon. There's a turnover. Good perimeter defense by Jackson and Durazo Frescas. Jackson into the paint. Had it knocked away from behind. Looked like Townsend might have jarred it free. And so Creighton's on the move once again. Molly, no. Rebound down to Durazo Frescas. Iser was calling for it. Young gets it back to their ball handler, Jackson, from 15. That's no good. Collision inside. Young on the ground for it. I think the call is a kick ball on Molly when she was on the floor. So UNLV's going to keep it.
They've certainly been getting physical on these rebounds. I thought I saw the players tangled up a bit. Let's take a look here. I thought Morgan Molly was wrapped up. I mean, that's tough to officiate. Both players kind of locked up there.
Yeah. It's a kick ball when you try to wrangle it with both of your sneakers there.
You got to pull out all the stops in March Madness.
So 2:08 to go. A new 20 for the Lady Rebels. Iser, ball fake, skips into the paint, throws it up, and Iser heads back to the free throw line.
Jim Flannery a little frustrated at his group. Really, the last couple of possessions, UNLV has easily just been getting into the paint, whether off the dribble like they were there or off the pass.
Iser, all of her points at the free throw line. And so UNLV back within 6.
And here comes a little full court pressure for the first time today. A little 2-2-1. Just try to disrupt this Creighton offense a little bit.
There's a deflection and a steal. Scoggin eyes up on the move. Iser spins once again. Oh, the lefty scoop. That was pretty.
She's feeling it. She was calling for the ball, and then a little celebration on the finish. She has brought great energy off the bench.
So now UNLV trying to change things up with a little zone. They're feeling it right now on a 7-0 run. Molly from deep knocks it down. Great answer.
Ooh, Morgan Molly, zone, man. Doesn't really matter. She can pick her spots to hurt you.
So now she has 3 triples. Molly, another 15-point per game scorer, one of 3 in the lineup. Iser, that's way short. Here comes Jensen. Inside of a minute now in the first half. Molly, it's a heat check. Puts in another. Back-to-back threes. And Creighton's back ahead by 10.
One thing we haven't mentioned yet, Kevin, this Creighton team came off of a shocking Big East semifinal loss to Georgetown. They shot 19% from 3 in that game. They've certainly found their shot again.
Well, it was a strange way that one came to a close. Here's a steal and a score. Rocket has now made this an 8-0 Blue Jays run in less than a minute.
This team can put up points in a hurry from 3. Little disruptive defense. Let's see if UNLV has an answer.
Wow, from a 4-point game back to a 12-point lead for the Big East runner-up. Jackson off the bounce. Couldn't finish at the rim. And then a foul after the shot with 2.1 to go. So Creighton has it.
Unfortunate for UNLV, that was just their 4th foul, or else Creighton would have been able to walk to the free throw line, the best free throw shooting team in the country.
So Creighton's got one last heat if they want it. Pass up ahead to Jensen. Banks it in. Did she get it off, though? Melissa Barlow says we're going to go to the monitor. That was very close.
Wow. Initial, I see one of the officials waving it off. I mean, regardless of what the call ends up being, look at this
previous ruling of a successful basket
play.
is under review.
Morgan Molly, Lauren Jensen cuts right across. I do think the ball was still in her hand when those red lights go on. But either way, we've got to applaud that draw up in the execution. We can't see it from that angle, but what a shot, what a draw to get one off.
We were trying to tell you everything is falling today for Creighton, and you can see there just a fraction late right there, still on the fingertips.
Yeah, so if you look at that red light above the basket, yeah, that's off. Ball still in her hand, so it won't count, but an incredible effort.
The ball was still in the shooter's hand, and the basket is no good.
Well, they had 2.1. They needed 2.3 for that one to go down. Nevertheless, they still end the half on an 8-0 run, and Creighton leads by 12. The winner of this one advances to face either the 2-seed UCLA or California Baptist, the 15 seed. That game right after we're done with this one.
We were talking about this region yesterday. I think 87% is the winning percentage amongst the 4 teams here at UCLA. A lot of winning.
Including these 2 programs. We thought it would be competitive. UNLV had an early lead for a short period of time, and then Creighton started burying all the threes, and so they have led for the majority of this game. At 12-point advantage, it's a game high.
Yeah, it was just interesting because we talked to Lindy LaRocque yesterday. She wasn't really concerned about the three-point shooting being the determining factor in this game. She was more concerned with the motion and the cutting and the twos from Creighton. But to put up 10, and a lot of them were just uncontested, missed assignments, so interested to see their response on the defensive end.
Young, ball fake, got Ronsick in the air, and so Desiree Young, she has been incredibly efficient. She has 14 now, has been all year.
And that was her easiest look of the evening, and that gives her 2,000 points, a monster scorer. Desiree Young, congrats on 2,000.
2,000 in 4 years. She is a 4-year senior, not a 5th-year senior. Jensen picking up right where she left off, now with 16. You know, this number has been insurmountable for a lot of Creighton's opponents as Young starting to flex on some of these Blue Jay bigs, but Creighton unbeaten, 10-0 this year when they hit 10 or more threes. That is an overwhelming amount. And now they've got 11.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, what we're seeing is trading threes for twos. You don't need to be a master in analytics to know that that is not a recipe that's going to work in this matchup.
Yeah, math is not adding up for these Lady Rebels. Great anticipation that time by Scoggin. She takes it away. Jackson on the move, though no numbers. And then the steal. Great sleight of hand by Mogensen. So Mogensen, the senior from Minnesota, starts the break. Jensen working off the screen. Hits Blake. One dribble. Caught underneath. Ronsick looking for her first make of the day, and she buries the 3.
She was the player we were looking to get going a little bit. As we looked at the stat sheet at the half, she was still scoreless, a member of that big 3, and she finally gets involved.
A collision here as Jensen and Young both went for the basketball. Both are delayed. And getting back to their feet. So they're both up. And that's the second foul on Jensen.
And let's see what happens here. Laura Jensen just going after that rebound hard and just kind of takes the hip check from Desiree Young. But both players up and staying in.
Not the first time these 2 teams have met before. 6th meeting. UNLV has won 3 of them. Last time they met in the postseason was 20 years ago, I should say. That was in the WNIT championship game in which Creighton won. There's Ronsick. The fadeaway, that's a difficult look. So she hits her first 2 shots after the break, after a scoreless first half. And Ronsick with the takeaway. Creighton now in quite a groove. Jensen left it short. Largest lead of the game. Early in this 3rd quarter, it's Creighton by 16. Young going back to work. Barging into Molly. Got it to go.
And that time UNLV overloads to the weak side, and that allows Desiree Young to be able to operate without anybody really coming in. Molly Mogensen dug in a little bit, but then came out. Desiree makes a move.
That's a foul on the Jensen drive, so she's headed to the free throw line. Boy, they are crisp offensively. Creighton is on this end of the floor.
Yeah, and there has been no let up, whether they're looking for a three, whether they are attacking. They are just staying foot on the gas pedal.
Jim Flannery's team has such incredible roster continuity. So Lauren Jensen has been here for 3 years. She's one of the newbies, if you will. There are several players from that 2020 class that have stayed here all 4 years. Jensen spent her rookie season at Iowa, then transfers over to Creighton. And has had quite a prolific career. So the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship second round, that continues tonight on CBS, TBS, and TNT. For more information on tournament games, times, and networks, go to ncaa.com. Just can you speak to the value of that continuity, the same core playing together for 3+ years? It's a rarity right now.
Yeah, it totally is, and I think you see it pay off in a situation like this, and not that you can't win, as Emma Ronsick has really caught fire here in the second half. Not that you can't win in different ways with reconstructing a roster year to year, but they've had incredible success. I've talked to Jim Flannery over the course of the season. He said we found different ways to win with the maturity. Alyssa Brown on the answer, but it's certainly something we're not used to seeing in this day and age. The same starting lineup even all season long, 5 seniors.
Yeah, for all 30. Brown, that's a vicious rejection. And so UNLV on the move. Ronsick still down on the other end, now gets up. Brown's open, wants 3. Not that time. That's a strong board down to Morgan Molly.
Jim Flannery still in the ear of the official, not happy that a foul was not called on that Ronsick drive. She was sent into the stanchion.
She's a little hobbled, if you will, a little uncomfortable now, trying to set that screen for Jensen. Jensen trying to take the freshman off the bounce. That's a 3rd foul on Kimpson. Maybe some body contact.
Let's revisit this one. Hard to tell from that angle just kind of how much came from behind. It looks fairly clean from that angle.
Brown takes a seat. Remember, she was the MVP of that Mountain West Conference tournament a couple of weeks ago. That 3 is left short. It's a 16-point lead for Creighton. There was some major disappointment when this team went home in the round of 64 a year ago. They lost as a 6th seed. The 11th seed of Mississippi State squad. Jackson now with a triple. So just the second for the Lady Rebels today. And certainly a team that is quite determined to have a bit of a longer stay in this tournament this season.
Yeah, and you see switching up the defense a little bit, the full court press back to his own. They're going to have to create some extra possessions to keep cracking down at this lead.
Ronsick chases down the loose ball, and then a foul on UNLV. So Ronsick working hard. And Creighton keeps it when we come back. They got a 13-point lead in this first round battle.
37%. It's not like they've had an off night. They've made one less shot than Creighton, but it's been the difference in the 3-point line. They have to try to stop those 3 attempts and get going a little bit on their own. They're a team that usually makes about 8 threes per game.
Ronsick scores it right at the rim. And to your point, UNLV just 2 of 12 from distance. That's it. And wants to march on to the round of 32. The winner would face either UCLA or California Baptist. That matchup would be on Monday. Young has been spectacular tonight with 20 points and 8 rebounds.
Yeah, talk about unstoppable. Pretty much anytime she's had a touch, she's getting it in for 2.
Oh, Ronsick has come alive in the second half.
Talk about the big three. Emma Ronsick was scoreless at the half. She's up to 12 points here in the second.
First time she's been at double figures since February 27th. You know, it was a quiet end to the regular season for Ronsick. Players like Molly and Jensen, they had gone off to close out the year. So she has ignited at the right time for the Blue Jays.
Emma Ronsick, a center. She can hurt you inside. You see her getting a good post-up, good position on that one. And then, just like anyone else on this Creighton roster, she can hurt you from three as well. Emma Ronsick, 12 points in the second half.
Well, she can't be denied this time again. Now 14 in, you know, just the first 7 minutes of this third quarter. There's a foul on the way in.
We had to update the highlight package instantly. Emma Ronsick didn't even let us finish the package. So we saw her have a post-up. We saw her hit a three. Now we see her put it on the floor and take it to the rack. And you're right, she had been, last 3 games, 2 of 15 from the floor coming into this one. She is certainly back.
Well, it seems like that poor shooting performance that you mentioned in the Big East tournament semifinal against Georgetown, that is like ancient history now. It was a strange showing. A lot of the key players were cold. They only scored 46.
It certainly looks like it was a wake-up moment. I was on hand for that game, and Jim Flannery benched the starting 5 for extended periods of that game. They've certainly come out with a response.
Townsend, watch that one just fall off the rim. Young down with her 9th board. Well, making it was like a true hockey sub, right? 5 on, 5 off. Jackson from the free throw line. And there's a foul after the play. Young went flying. She might have been shoved from behind there on the box out. So that's a foul on Creighton that'll keep it here.
We've had multiple points in this game where a shot has been made and then a foul after the bucket. Let's see if we can see it from this angle here.
Watch Young.
Looks like maybe just more of a little bit of a tripping, like inadvertent tripping, but they get the bucket and they get the ball back.
Scoggin wants it, bounces out. So it remains a 15-point game. Yeah, we knew physicality in the paint was going to be a very important item in this game. Creighton +5 on the glass. And that's an area where UNLV has normally demolished its opponents. That's in the paint, winning the battle on the glass. Yet today, Creighton has in a lot of ways held up to one-and-done possessions.
You saw
that's
that
another
graphic.
foul on Young.
You saw that graphic. They're doubling them up in the paint, but once again, it's the three-point shooting that's making the difference, and Creighton has been the better team on the glass.
Ronsick has got the smaller freshman on her. Goes up and scores it.
She has certainly taken over this third quarter. She is calling for the ball. She's looking for her mismatches.
This is a 14-point quarter, making a 16-point quarter for Emma Ronsick, the senior from Sioux Falls. Kimson now, the rookie of the year of the conference, bounces it to Young. She's just automatic underneath. Again, it's hard to keep up with this very efficient Creighton offense today. They're 57%. The Blue Jays are from the floor in the second half.
Yeah, stops are going to have to start coming quickly and consistently. It can't just be one stop and then let Creighton score 3 times down the floor. Got to get 3 or 4 stops in a row to chip into this margin.
Less than a minute to go. Jensen flings it. Ball back to the Lady Rebels.
Macy James is the game for UNLV. Mallory Creighton returns to Creighton.
Young in the paint, kicks it out to Clinching for 3. Now a little full full-court pressure.
Finally, a little firepower. Just the third triple, 3 of 15 from UNLV. Can that give them a little fire on this end of the floor?
About a 2.5-second differential between shot and game clock. Ronsik's got it. Pounds it. It's a 16-point quarter for Ronsick. Mogensen bounces it into the corner. That one's knocked down with a second to go. Shot clock violation. And so UNLV will have it with 1.8 on the clock.
And there's plenty of time in this game. A big three, following it up with a stop. Just 12 points here. Little heroics could cut it to single digits.
They would need a heave. Kimson from beyond half court hits the backboard, but nothing doing there. It was an even quarter, 21 apiece for Creighton and UNLV, so it remains a 12-point game, but Emma Ronsick came alive.
She had 16 points in just the third quarter.
Here's a double figures kick.
Yeah, Desiree Young has been outstanding. She hit her 2,000th career point, but there have been 3 stars for Creighton. Ooh, offensive foul called there on Desiree Young.
Now Young disagrees with it. You've got a Creighton player on the floor.
It's been physical inside. On takes, on rebounds, let's take a look. Looks like her elbow gets Morgan Molly, but it certainly
play
wasn't.
is under review for a potential upgrade.
They'll take a look at this one, and we'll step aside early in the fourth. Desiree Young, that's UNLV's fourth, just picked up her 4th personal foul, and she sits down now with her team down 12. We've got our rules analyst, Lisa Mattingly, with us, coordinator of officiating for several conferences. Lisa, we appreciate you joining us here. Our officials, they just went to the monitor. Looked like they were trying to determine whether or not they were going to upgrade this to anything intentional.
Absolutely. The crew did a great job getting over there. Anytime a player gets hit in the face, grabs their nose, whatever, we want to go just out of an abundance of caution. And it's just a basketball move. It's not unnecessary or excessive or severe. I think they did a great job getting in there and coming out with that same personal foul, staying with the personal foul.
You're right. They kept it as a common foul. And so she sits down now with 4 personals, and Emma Ronsick just picks up right where she left off in the third quarter. She went 7 of 10 and now has another triple. Alyssa Brown answers, and UNLV needs it. It's a 12-point game.
And what a great resource it is for us to have Lisa Mattingly with us this season for the first time. It's something we've often seen on the men's side, and I think it's been lacking. So thank you to Lisa Mattingly for joining our tournament crew.
Yeah, Women's Basketball Hall of Famer Ronsick. Boy, she just cannot be denied right now. And if you're Jim Flannery, you still got to keep getting her the ball. She's red hot. It has been difficult for UNLV to keep up with this overwhelming offensive performance right now by Creighton. The Blue Jays 56% from the floor in the second half. Molly leaves the 3 short.
Well, I think part of what's happened is Molly and Jensen were so hot in the first half, and Creighton was hot from the 3-point line, that UNLV really started focusing their efforts on that. And then Emma Ronsick's been able to find success inside when things opened up.
Lockett was trying to take it away from Jackson. Just got caught too much body that time, so that's the second on Lockett. Well, these Rebels, they are in danger right now with 8:22 to go. They won 30 games, won 15 straight entering this tournament. And they don't want this to be their 3rd straight round of 64 exit.
And when we were talking to Lise, I think we kind of glossed over. That was a big 4th foul call on Desiree Young. Coach LaRock putting her back in with the 4 fouls. Still 8 minutes to go, but she desperately needs her in there.
Season on the line. Who wants to march on to the round of 32? The winner would play Monday against either UCLA or California Baptist. Mogensen off the dribble, back to Molly. Heaves it. Oh, it's a high arcer, and left it short. Jackson now in a hurry. Attacks, picks up the dribble. Here's Brown, just stuck one from straight on a few possessions ago. And Creighton takes it with 7:40 to go in the fourth quarter.
And shot selection, so important here for UNLV as they try to make a run back in this game. That was a wide open three, but you just want to make sure that you have the right people taking the right shots in the places you want them.
Ronsick finds a wide open Morgan. Molly got it. And Creighton's lead balloons back to 16.
UNLV puts on the full court press and Creighton just dices it up. You want to get the ball to the middle of the floor to best attack it, and that's what they do.
Creighton has led by double digits for the entirety of this second half. LaRock calls the timeout after Jackson's triple. She's into double figures with 16. And it's a 13-point game with 7:12 to go. And Lindy, and her husband Dan expecting baby 2 this summer. It's great to see the whole family here, by the way.
I mean, that was just adorable. The t-shirt, baby having a great time. And we talked about the success that Lindy LaRock had as a player under Tara Vanderveer. 4 Final Fours for her. She is instilling that in her own players.
And she learned from probably the best to ever do it. And, you know, when she took this job, it was very clear. She was very candid with us. Players that come to play for her at UNLV, you better be winners and you better want to be coached. Young playing with the 4 fouls as UNLV the closest to Creighton since early in the third. It's an 11-point game, but now numbers on the break. This is Haran, and instead they back it out. Creighton is led by double digits for the entirety of this second half. UNLV led, but it was very brief and early in the first. Molly, oh, that's an impressive one-legged fadeaway from Morgan Molly. She's got 16, Kim.
Dirk Nowitzki and Morgan Molly, very similar shot attempts there. Dirk is going to be studying the film on that one.
She was red hot to close out the regular season and was terrific in their 2 Big East tournament games. She's got 16 today. Boy, Young is a wizard in the paint. She's 13 of 17.
Right back at him. Desiree Young. Anytime that she's had room to operate, she's very efficient in her movements. 1 or 2 dribbles.
Brown is whistled for the foul that time. She caught a whole bunch of ball, but some body as well. And so Mogensen is headed to the free throw line with 5:55 to go.
Yeah, we've had some hard hits in this game. Molly Mogensen, a little contact on the leg. Maybe a little bit more discipline there because there really wasn't anything up top. You're forcing Mogensen to kind of throw something up there.
Mogensen now 26 of 32 at the stripe. So UNLV has threatened several times in this half. Creighton, what do you make of just the poise, their steadiness in the second half?
Yeah, well, it's just such an interesting game because you look at the stats. UNLV is actually shooting the ball at a better percentage. 51% for the Lady Rebels, 48%. But Creighton, you're right, they've just stayed steady, and that's where this veteran presence has certainly come into play.
Gibson got that one to go, so back to an 11-point game. It's wild, you're right. UNLV, 52% from the floor. Though remember, Creighton's hit 9 more triples. And there you go. That's the difference in this one in a lot of ways.
In all ways, really. That's the one area they are being outplayed. So again, we mentioned it earlier. Multiple stops in a row have to occur.
Late shot clock offense for the Blue Jays. Baseline jumper, break, hits it.
And that's just tough because Mallory Brake is the least dangerous offensive threat on the floor. But she confidently takes her opening.
Desiree Young got it to go and the foul. And so Young heads to the free throw line, attempting to get it back to a 10-point game.
I mean, we cannot say enough about the offensive game that Desiree Young is having. It's been automatic. Her post-up position has been perfect every time. Little reaction there. She is up to 28 points.
You know, you hear coaches mention this quite often as you see what UNLV has done in the paint. Do your work early. And Young does that on the interior. She's got 28 points, but her team is down 11. Winner to the round of 32 on Monday. Loser's season is over. Jensen with 5 to shoot. Jensen, the crossover, the runner. Oh, how did that one go? And then a timeout. Creighton with 4:20 to go. A clever move by the senior.
Lauren Jensen had that basketball on a string, just toying with the defender through the legs. Hesitation. Right to left. Smooth pull-up, falls down. Lauren Jensen, the second Blue Jay, up to 20 points. Emma Ronsick has 21. That's 20 for Lauren Jensen. We have talked about the versatility of her offense, how she can hurt you from 3, how she can get to the rack. Smooth little pull-up fadeaway on that one.
Yeah, look at that trio we mentioned right off the top. Jensen, Molly, and Ronsick, 57 combined. Remember, they're the only trio in college basketball that average 15 or more, all of them.
And we've seen why it's so dangerous because of the second half that Emma Ronsick has had. A lot of the focus went to Jensen and Molly to start the second half, and Ronsick took advantage with 21 points in the third and fourth quarter alone after going scoreless in the first half.
Gibson attacks, a bit strong. This one's still free, and Mogensen pounces on it. And what compounds things for UNLV, there have been a couple of recent possessions for Creighton. They're not only, again, scoring at the high rate, doing it late in the shot clock as well. So if you're UNLV, you're running out of time. Jensen knocks down a triple. And so Creighton has rebuilt a 16-point lead. An incredibly efficient shooting day by this Blue Jays team. They're well past their season average of 73 a game. Young has now got a 30-piece. Timeout UNLV with 3:33 to go. Desiree Young, you know, her stay in this tournament looks like it might be brief, but what an impact she's going to leave. 30 points tonight for this Rebel.
She has been phenomenal. It's not just 30 points, it's the efficiency in which she's done it. 15 of 19 from the floor, as well as 9 rebounds. You said it earlier, she does the work early. She gets perfect position in front every time. She's had a defender on her back, and then she keeps the game simple. She's not trying to dribble around the paint. She's efficient in her movements, one dribble, excellent footwork. She has kept her team just crawling back in this game. 30 points. We mentioned she hit her 2,000th career. She's the second all-time leading scorer in Lady Rebels history, and she's been here for 4 years.
Yep.
And Lindy LaRocque just raved to us about how she's able to coach Desiree, how she's never once questioned what the coaching staff has told her. Phenomenal season and evening for Miss Young.
And this is the Vegas native, went to Desert Oasis High, maybe 20 minutes from campus. And she'll be the first to tell you, she did not have the skilled game that she now has today. And she is an incredible illustration of what a killer attitude and hard work can do. She had 2 offers coming out of high school and is going to leave as arguably the best player in program history. There's a foul on that pass inside. 3:14 to go. Creighton has maintained a double-digit lead for the entirety of this second half. For UNLV, it's just been too much offense to overcome. There's still 3:14 to go. We've seen a couple of 18-point comebacks. That was the largest deficit UNLV has been in. But time is running very short. So let's take a moment to remind you one last time. For a fourth straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game, it's on our ESPN family of networks. For more info, go to ncaa.com today.
I was just seeing some tweets today. Scoggin can't get it to go, but just a couple years ago, people saying, you know, having to flip through channels, not all the games were on TV. Now every game aired in its entirety. Tremendous.
Brown and Brake got tied up there fighting for the loose basketball. Possession arrow does favor UNLV. Creighton is 2:55 away from advancing to face either the 2 seed in this Albany 2 regional. That's UCLA. Who's been one of the just best teams in college basketball all year. Or Cal Baptist, CBU. That's the 15 seed, the WAC champs. That game is coming up right after this one comes to a close. There's a foul there after Brown gathered that one. And so that's a foul on Molly, her second.
And this is just where you want to see the game have a clean ending, regardless of who wins, who comes back. You don't want to have any extracurriculars here. The officials are going to take a look at the contact here.
That's Melissa Barlow over there at the replay review. Are they looking at the swinging elbow here for Brown?
Well, it's interesting because they called the foul on Morgan Molly, according to our stat chart here. But I would imagine they're going to review this swinging elbow from Alyssa Brown against Morgan Molly.
You know, we had a pretty good angle to that collision a few moments ago. It didn't look like the elbow, that right elbow, made contact with Molly at first glance.
So again, there was not a foul called on UNLV here. The foul, according to our stat chart here, was called on Morgan Molly. So it would be, I guess, an unobserved foul that they would potentially upgrade here against Alyssa Brown. It did seem a bit excessive, swinging that elbow up around the face.
Yeah, that latest look, I don't even know if the elbow collided there with Molly. It did not appear as if it did.
That angle, we can't see if there was or wasn't contact. Did she
The
get
previous
hit?
play was reviewed for a potential upgrade, and the call of common foul on the floor was confirmed.
So they were looking to potentially upgrade Morgan Molly's foul, which...
Yeah, so watch the right elbow. You know, Molly there is, of course, trying to maybe get the call there with the elbow. However, you just heard Melissa Barlow mention this remains a common foul, so UNLV will inbound right in front of their own bench with 2:52 to go.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if they were looking at Molly, there was definitely nothing there because she just kind of ran into her. Interesting collision.
Brown needs it. Scoggin, offensive board, lost it. Jensen ripped it away, and then Scoggin whistled for the foul. And so Creighton in the bonus, going to the other side of the floor to shoot 2.
And that's what's tough about trying to come back against Creighton when you try to extend the length of the game and having a foul. Well, reminder that Creighton is the best free throw shooting team in the NCAA.
Oh, they're perfect today. They haven't missed now 9 of 9. Look at Jensen, 90% at the stripe this year. It is a very veteran, experienced team with 5 seniors in the starting lineup. You've got some reliable players coming off the bench. They all have bought into that Creighton standard. There is a way of doing business in Omaha. 3rd straight tournament for this program. 3rd straight top 3 finish in the Big East. Another 20-win season. You see the 25 wins there. And you've got a lot of players that are just committed to either developing or winning when they go play for Jim Flannery.
And I'm certainly witnessing what I would say kind of a wake-up call moment that Creighton had in the shocking Big East semifinal loss to Georgetown, who went on to their first Big East championship ever. But Creighton looked unrecognizable in that game. So I think that kind of reminded these upperclassmen, we can't just roll the ball out. We have to play the way we know we can.
Meanwhile, Desiree Young just checked out for UNLV. Just shared a long embrace with her head coach, Lindy LaRocque. 2:05 to go. And to your point, though, Creighton is they're essentially doubling their point output from that semifinal loss a couple of weeks ago. They only scored 46, and they're pushing 90 today. They were a well-oiled machine this evening. 51% shooting from the floor, 15 threes. Creighton has hit 15 triples. And there you go. You see some of those embraces on the sideline. Young with the staff. She's a senior. There's several players. They're not quite sure what they're going to do, if they're going to utilize that extra year of eligibility. What does the future hold for a two-time Mountain West Conference Player of the Year, I should say, star in Young? We will see.
Yeah, UNLV certainly couldn't have asked for anything more out of their star in Desiree Young. And really same thing on the Creighton side. None of those seniors have announced their plans. They could all come back as well.
That's the first basket of the night for Durazo Frescas. Really good three-point shooter. And she could barely get a shot off today. So Creighton guarded her well when she was on the floor. But the Blue Jays are in position to march right along to the round of 32. They were knocked out in the first round a year ago as a 6 seed. They bounce right back, win 25 games, and they, if things go their way here, the final minute and 20 are going to await the winner of UCLA and California Baptist. Nice cut to the rim. Townsend couldn't get it to go. Gibson pulls up from 6. That's McKenna Brackens. Gets a new 20 for the Lady Rebels. That one's good for Durazo Frescas. Meanwhile, for this UNLV team, 3rd straight trip to this championship, though it will be their 3rd straight first-round exit. They were so close 2 years ago. They had a lead going into the 4th quarter against Arizona, where they were the 13th seed that year. Ultimately lost that one. They lost last year to Michigan. And they just ran into an incredible shooting performance today by Creighton. However, one thing remains true, and that is UNLV is firmly the preeminent force in the Mountain West Conference. If you want to knock them down and punch a ticket to this championship, you're going to have to go through Vegas.
Yeah, what it sees, I mean, really looking at a couple seasons now, they were them in South Carolina, the only 2 teams with back-to-back 30-win seasons, so still lots to come for UNLV.
But Creighton is moving on. The 7th seed faces either UCLA or California Baptist. They'll await the winner of that one and play in the round of 32 on Monday.